This is where it gets, in my opinion, really fascinating, because if you look back into how all these sites have been destroyed, like for instance, the city of Nineveh had a library called the Ashurbanipal Library, which had all these cuneiform writings that have been amassed by kings, and I'll talk about that in a minute, that have been there previous. And then when you see this change of structure of governing, whereas some empire will come in, they just destroy everything, okay? And people say, okay, well, that's just the way it is. But is it? Why are all these things constantly being destroyed? You go up to the Roman Empire.
Alexandria, right?
They were riding around, burning and destroying anything that connected to a non-Christian, the Christian monotheistic religion they took control and created. And because it's originally based on this ancient Gnostic pagan old religion, it was called, which was a spirituality connection to the higher self. And Thoth talks about that all the time. Mm-hmm. And so what I want to show here is called, we're looking at Nineveh, and I want to talk about King Hammurabi for a minute, okay? Because if you look at all of these bloodline kings that have existed, especially in Mesopotamia, they all have this common lineage, this common connection that can occur. It's not simply some king that rises up into power because of a random vote or whatever it is through the people. Go back to ancient Egypt, go back to Sumer, go back to any of these places, you're going to see that all of these kings are part of ancient bloodline families. And that continues to this day. It's scary, but right. It absolutely does, all the way up. Looking at the Rothschilds, look at the royal family with this marriage that just occurred. Why do you think they were so pissed about that? Because she was non-royal blood.
No outsider.
And they are obsessed with royal blood. What are bloodlines? Why would you obsess around royal bloodlines? Well, there's different versions of our DNA, and human beings are not the same as they used to be. And there's certain understanding that some of these old bloodlines that go all the way back are superior in their mind. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so the less superior bloodlines are then considered, lower people. They're not as important. And that's why these bloodline families intermarry and all these things, because of the fact they're willing to have incest, which is very frequent, simply because they're obsessed with protecting a bloodline. They would rather have incest than to bring an outside bloodline in to what they call contaminating the bloodline. Now, this goes all the way back to what I said, these early kings. Now, King Hammurabi is an example of this. And what you can see right there is called the Code of Hammurabi. And why am I mentioning this? Well, I'm proving and discussing the fact that the influences that have led to these bloodlines and the empire building and war and everything we see, and even laws and all these things, were simply influences from the outside. Influences that came here from heaven, which is simply higher dimensions. And I'll mention who those are in a minute, but I want to mention this because the Code of Hammurabi is a 7.5 foot tall stela that has cuneiform writing all across it. And what it basically is this this description of what those laws are. And at the top it shows King Hammurabi on the left, and on the right you have one of these really common figures that if anyone looks into what the gods supposedly looked like or whatever these beings were, they always have the same look, this horned helmet with this great beard and this long outfit, and they're always really tall. What happens if that person sitting in the chair stood up? How tall would they be if they stood up? And that's the common theme you find every time. That being you see up there is named Shamash, and it's one of the sun gods, okay? It's a solar deity god. Now, what does that matter? That sounds crazy, right? Well, not so crazy, because King Hammurabi himself, one of the great kings of that era, he has, in the preface, I want to read what it states, okay? In the preface before it goes over all these moral laws, they're basically moral laws to live by on our planet. Again, kingship. I want you to get this idea of kingship and where the format in our entire reality and the laws, everything, where did it come from, right? Well, this is where we're gonna there's clues that are mentioned right in here. King Hammurabi says right at the beginning, and I love this quote. He says, Anu in Bel called by name me, Hammurabi, the exalted prince, who feared God, to bring about the rule of righteousness to the land, to destroy the wicked and the evildoers, so that the strong should not harm the weak, so that I should rule over the people like Shamash and enlighten the land, to further the well-being of mankind. Now, some might not see much in that, except what about what he first said right away at the beginning? Anu and Bel, called by name me, Hammurabi. Well, who are those beings? Are they real? Or are they just are these gods that are shared throughout everything from the Sumerians to the Greeks all the way to the Aztecs and Mayans? Are these all just somehow?
Hi, this is Billy Carson, and welcome to ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. This is a new streaming network with shows for the entire family. New cooking shows, workshops and lectures from around the world, incredible nature documentaries, science shows that will take you on a journey through the universe and then to wormholes and back down to the smallest quantum states of atoms. Watch Knowledge for Ascension episodes by speakers you know and love. Learn more about your avatar body and how to maximize yourself in the third dimension. Explore your multidimensional self. Explore the nature of our reality. Could we be living in a fractal holographic matrix? And what does that mean for humanity? Delve deep into the mathematical codes that help to create our reality. Watch meditation and yoga videos designed to help you discover the true divine nature of your soul. Explore super ancient text, glyphs, and cuneiform tablets from around the world. Learn their hidden meanings. Tour megalithic structures and watch original, never-seen-before footage. Is there a ruling elite watching and ruling over humanity? Watch shows designed to elevate human consciousness. Tour the world with Billy Carson and discover amazing wonders. Do we have a secret space program? And if we do, who is behind it all? At ForbiddenKnowledge.tv, you get 3 days totally free. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv is enlightenment through entertainment.